How did Sneako go from a once wise, youthful YouTube philosopher to a complete contradiction of his past self? Well, this is my take as someone that's the exact same age as Sneako and not banned from YouTube. Coming up. By now, you have probably seen this image of Sneako and Moist Critical and probably are familiar with the back and forth that they have experienced. Sneako dancing with, the pew pew sticks and seemingly threatening Moist Critical. Moist Critical coming back with a scathing response. And if you've really been ahead of it, you may have seen the Meat Canyon cartoon.
Chad, I'm out of ammo. I gotta find another clip.
It's called a magazine.
But I wanted to give my thoughts as someone that is just nearly a few months older than Sneako. And so we're pretty much the exact same age, and a fellow Gen-Zer. When I see Sneako and I see his old videos, because I used to come across his old videos all the time, and I was like, wow, this is really inquisitive and interesting and very thoughtful. And he created really interesting videos. I didn't agree with everything he had to say, but I was like, all right, cool. Like, I like it. I see the artistic vision here. And as he went along, and I would almost categorize the videos as like fake deep. Does that make sense? Like fake deep is you're kind of learning something new, but you haven't really implemented it. And so you're just repeating things you've learned previously. And this is the Dunning-Kruger effect. The Dunning-Kruger effect occurs when a person's lack of knowledge and skills in a certain area cause them to overestimate their own competence. By contrast, this effect also causes those who excel in a given area to think the task is simple for everyone and underestimate their relative abilities as well. So this is a graph of the Dunning-Kruger effect. Confidence is really high, but you know nothing. And then over here on this corner, you have your confidence is high and you're the guru. You know everything. And the Dunning-Kruger effect is this concept that you're the peak of Mount Stupid when you know nothing, but your confidence is high. And that's often found with beginners. This was actually shown in a study where they interviewed, I think, 100 to 1,000 engineers at this company, at this big computer engineering company. And the bottom 4% said that they were the best there. The bottom 4% thought they were in the top 1% of performers in the company. And then you also get the valley of despair. You start to know something more, but you lack confidence because you know how much you don't know. Now, Sneako has kind of never hit the valley of despair. He's kind of just stuck at peak of Mount Stupid. As a fellow Gen-Zer, I've seen people talk about how when you're 17, 18, 19 years old, you think you know it all. And I'll tell you this. Looking back, I definitely was more confident at 18, 19, 20, thinking that I had a lot more figured out than I do now at 24, same age as Sneako. Because I'm learning how much I don't know. And I do think this as kind of the higher end of Gen-Zers, right? I'm kind of as old as the Gen-Zers can get before you're a bottom age millennial. The bottom of the barrel millennial, which I'm glad to be leading the charge for Gen-Zs and not bottom of the barrel millennial, okay? Sneako, when he was younger, exhibited a lot of knowledge of perceived ideas. And as he got older, some of those ideas didn't work out. He tried to learn from experience, but he ultimately ditched everything he knew for another dogma. And he kind of just replaced it and became hyper charismatic in this one manosphere red pill ideology. As a fellow Gen-Zer, it's okay to not know it all. It's hard when he has a really large following and you think that you have some sort of influence. Maybe you were looked at as kind of an online philosopher for young people, right? You were a Gen Z philosopher. But I think the biggest reason it didn't stick was because you can repeat the knowledge and repeat things you've learned, but nothing beats wisdom. Nothing beats application. Nothing beats actually applying all these things you've learned to your life. So he would talk about these mighty concepts about, just self-acceptance and learning and seeing where you fit in the world and understanding you're not special, but you do have something to accomplish in this earth and yada, yada, yada. Just very high up philosophical ideas that typically people learn in their older age. And I think what happened was because he thought he was saying these things and teaching them, I guess, he also thought he mastered them. And if Sneako is proving anything, it's that you can't beat life experience. You just can't beat it. Like, regardless of how wise you think you are, 17, 18, 19, you're going to be 21, 22, 23, 24, just making dumb mistakes. Just messing up. And this kid that was once this well-known philosopher, this youthful philosopher, is now also going to be in his 40s and his 60s thinking, wow, I was so lost when I was in my early 20s. I was just latching onto anything like most people in their early 20s do. And I think it's so interesting how someone that seemed so sure and so wise beyond their years was actually still can't escape the stupidity of your early 20s. That's a trip. Like, sometimes some people are just destined to learn from mistakes and not learn from the previous generation. Regardless of how hard they try, how learned they are, it's against their nature to freaking listen to that and apply it. Because being smart, being wise beyond your years isn't knowing something and repeating it and getting a bunch of in a group of people. Being wise beyond your years is like shutting up, is understanding like how little you know. Understanding how little you know in your early 20s. And this is something like, I really enjoy YouTube, but it's something I think about all the time. I don't want to talk about something I don't know. And I'm going to talk from my personal experience because, dude, I'm 24. I got a lot of friends that are 15 years older than me and are just wise. Like, something hits 35 plus. You really start figuring stuff out 35 plus, maybe 30. Maybe 30. You have some life experience. You've had 15 years of like proper adulthood. But as much as I enjoy this, I have to approach this like open-handed. Guys, I know very little. I don't know if people can be immune to stupidity in their early 20s. But I do think you're more likely to be adverse to stupidity and actually be wise beyond your years if you just be quiet. You take the back seat a little bit. Try not to be too sure on anything. But that is the juxtaposition of your early 20s and your mid 20s, I guess. Being sure. You have to be sure about stuff. It's right when you start getting involved in politics, when you start getting involved in social issues. It's when you start getting involved in a lot of things. And I don't know if it's healthy. I think it's good to just chill. Just listen. Just relax. If you feel like you always have to be an authority on something, like if I feel like I have to be an authority on something, I'm gonna be obnoxious about it. I'm gonna be apologizing about it in a year from now, or being like, I really shouldn't have said that. I don't really know what I was thinking. If you've got a lot of faux fundities in you, if you've got a lot of little fake deep sayings in you, make sure you apply them. Make sure you apply them, because the application of philosophy is the most difficult part. Hate to break it to you, but having a nice cinematic edited video is the easiest part about being a philosopher. The hardest part is sticking to that philosophy and living it out, and not just abandoning it for something else and being a completely different person in 2 years from now. And you're allowed to grow. You're allowed to grow. Yeah, do it. But if you're getting banned from platforms, probably talking too much. All right, if you guys enjoyed this video, give it a like. I'll see you in the next one, and subscribe if you enjoyed it. And comment down below. I want to know what you guys think. Peace.